Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything is going to be okay. This should be the last Waking Titan 1.5 report for this weekend. There's been a lot going on, so this is my third report, which has actually been pretty typical for the last few weekends, because so much has been happening. But, okay, let's go ahead and get started. Events of May 26th, 2018. We got a hint on the status command on Waking Titan. We just had one last thing to complete, the satellite uplink. And the hint we got was an IBM website. And on that website, there was a guy that made a decoder called the Blowfish decoder. And it's one of those decoders that, in order to decode something that's been coded with it, you have to have a cipher word. We dealt with this in the first Waking Titan. They gave us, well, they basically taught us how to use that type of a decoder. It's pretty simple. It's like it's an online tool that you can use. You just paste in the stuff you want to decode, but you have to have the cipher word or it can't be decoded. So we had to figure out what the cipher words were, and our clues that we'd gotten previously was we thought it had to do something with Mars. Oh yeah, because, okay, the glyphs, the 5 glyphs that had been decoded, they had talked about, oh, where'd my notes go? I have so many notes. Oh, they're right here. Good. We'd gotten the 2 hints marked with honeycomb scars. I am the lowest of the low. And then from my red soil, 4 times rises Vulcan. So I had jumped at the honeycomb scars thing, saying, oh, it has to do with No Man's Sky lore, people with glass in their skin and all that. But when it talks about the lowest of the low, it was referring to a trench on Mars that is the deepest trench on that planet. And the name of it was either Tharsis or I think it's Tharsis. Hopefully I'm right about that. I think Tharsis is the name of the trench. And so Tharsis was one of the cipher words for... Remember I told you 3 of the glyphs gave codes for paste bin links, and in those paste bins were a bunch of code that we didn't know how to decode. And so that code, oh wow, I never knew there was vortex cubes on this planet. So that text had to be put into the Blowfish decoder, and then one of them, not all of them, just one of them, the cipher word was Tharsis. So if you put in the code from the paste bin and you put in Tharsis as the cipher word, you got this sentence: the hills I have conquered honor the lost who preceded my journey. Okay, and then another hint, oh yeah, the other hint that we'd gotten from another glyph was from my red soil 4 times rises Vulcan. So red soil of course refers to Mars, and then 4 times rises Vulcan refers to a volcano, because Vulcan was the god of fire and the forge in Greek mythology. So people figured out that it referred to a volcano on Mars. I think the 4 times may refer to, like, it is erupted 4 times or something. I'm not sure. But that led people to figure out the name of the volcano, which I think is Hellas. Hopefully I didn't get those mixed up. Tharsis and Hellas. It's one or the other. But Hellas was the other cipher word for another one of the code, encrypted text, and it said, "From these hills I can see the headless horseman's lair." I'm not sure what that meant, but okay, so then the last one, people, I don't think we really had a clue for this. People just had to guess things that had to do with Mars, and they guessed Phobos. Phobos is one of Mars's moons, and the special thing about it is that it has a crater, and that crater is a giant volcano. So the other clues may have also led to that. But Phobos was the third cipher word, and it decoded its text to "With me came great openings." Great openings, that may refer to a volcano, because Phobos has that giant crater that's a giant volcano. So with me came great openings, an opening to the planet's molten area beneath it. So anyway, people decrypted all of this, and so it's just giving us lots of clues that has something to do with Mars. So that was how someone finally guessed the answer to the code for the uplink.satcom-70. That was the last objective on wakingtitan.com that we needed to complete. Someone guessed that it was Mira, MER-A, which is the name of a rover on Mars, a Mars rover that had been sent there at some point in time. And it maybe was near some of these locations. So that's the answer to the uplink. If you go to uplink.satcom-70.com, you can enter in Mira, and it will start to connect. And what it does is it basically, okay, in order to use it, you have to be on some device that can find your location. So if you're on a smartphone, you have to have GPS, and you have to allow it to, see your location. Or if you're on PC, you have to be using Google Chrome, because Google Chrome, I guess, can find your location if you allow it to, but you have to change your settings to allow it to find your location. So if you use the app and do that, then it will connect, and it basically, okay, we had the Satcom-70 page with this red glowing area on it, and we figured out that that was the CJ-16 satellite, which is a secret Chinese satellite, but that is the satellite that the Satcom is tracking. The red area is where that satellite actually is. It's a real satellite. But this new app, the uplink.satcom-70, it basically just tells you how close you are to the satellite. It tells you the signal strength and some other data to let you know how close you are to it, and if you're close enough to it, then the red dot will start to flash, and more about that later, because we later found out why that's important. So everything on the Waking Titan status command had been completed except for Emily's processing, Loop 16's processing. We completed the satellite uplink, the glyphs on wakingtitan.com, and Arnaud. We helped Arnaud get better and improved his health. So once all that was complete, it was just Loop 16 processing our sound files that we submitted to her. And then I guess she completed it, because then she started posting on Reddit. There was a post that she had made well, her Reddit name was Atlas-Loop16. Well, actually, it was Emily. Her name is Emily, but she has a flare that says Atlas-Loop16. But she started to post on people's comments on her post of the video. I had told you about the video we have of her telling about the number 42, but people had replied to that Reddit post, and she started to reply to them, and she was basically saying things from No Man's Sky lore, like I should have written down some of the examples, but like the famous quote, I am here in this space between worlds, and things like that. Different traveler lore. When you talk to traveler NPCs in the game, they will say different things like the universes are colliding together and soon everything will burn in the abyss or something like that. But the quotes that Emily was posting all had one word different. So people had to look at the No Man's Sky lore and then compare it to what she was posting, and one word out of each post was incorrect, and those words were the words that we needed. So we strung those words together, and she posted a reply every 16 minutes. So over the course of about 2 hours, she would post, and then eventually we got the whole message from the odd words out, and she said, "You have a direct line to Myriad, tell them." And from all these quotes, I guess people figured out there was something wrong with Emily. So one of the people with the dev kits, I think, had to message Myriad with Skype. That was their direct line to Myriad, and they messaged 911. They just did 911 with a bunch of exclamation marks, telling them that something was wrong with Emily. And that prompted a reply. They said, "Thank you, we will let the administrators know," or whatever. And then the people with the dev kits, and then everybody were given a link to a new YouTube video. And this new YouTube video is a hologram. It has 4 of the same image in a circle, so that if you use it on a smartphone and you put this plastic prism on top of it, it actually creates a 3D image inside the plastic prism to make a hologram. And the people who got the dev kits got these. They got the smartphone and the little plastic thing for making a hologram. So the hologram that was projected with this YouTube video, and I'll link the YouTube video so you can see it, and if you have this prism thing, you can create a hologram with it on your smartphone. But it gave us a hologram of a traveler character model. So basically we see what the character model is going to look like, we're pretty sure. Of course, we already kind of had that information because it is on the new Xbox box art that was revealed, a couple weeks ago when Sean Murray did the interview on the Xbox live stream. So it was a little anticlimactic that we got this hologram of the suit that was already on the box art that we got, but oh well. I think Hello Games gave Allison Smith, the makers of the ARG, a bunch of this information early on, not knowing that they were going to have to leak the box art and do the interview with Xbox later on. They probably gave Allison Smith all this info at the beginning of this year, but they didn't know they were going to get invited onto the Xbox live stream and all that. So we had already gotten this information. So it would have been really exciting getting this hologram of the character model if we hadn't already gotten to see it on the box art. But anyway, the next thing that happened got me excited, though. I was feeling kind of down because it was an anticlimactic bit of info we got. But then we got another YouTube video, and this one we got to see Elizabeth Leighton, the actress that played Elizabeth Leighton in the first Waking Titan. She's back, and she gave a short 1-minute video briefly explaining the situation, that there's a satellite owned by Where. She didn't say where, but she said one of Myriad's clients, and Myriad is with the Atlas Foundation. Elizabeth Leighton is the CEO of the Atlas Foundation. But she told us that they're having trouble with this client and they need our help by tracking the satellite using the uplink that we just got. So I will link those two videos, the hologram video and the Elizabeth Leighton video, in a pinned comment, along with the links to Satcom 70 and uplink Satcom 70, along with the password so that you can access all this stuff. Okay, and then in the Elizabeth Leighton video, she hinted that we would be getting more information, and we did. Everybody who's signed up for the CSD Citizen Science Division email list got an email from Old Gods, which is basically the code name for Elizabeth Leighton, I think, or code name for the whole Atlas Foundation, because they have code names that are like Titans and stuff, Themis and Metis and all that. But anyway, sorry, I'm really rambling. Okay, so this is the email that we got. I'll read it to you. Important message for citizen scientists. All members are invited to install the uplink Satcom-70 app and gather key telemetry data around the world. You can access the app on desktop, tablet, or mobile. On mobile, you will also see detailed instructions on how to correctly install the app. Please be sure to use Chrome on Android and Safari on iOS. Uplink, yeah, and then it gives you the link to the uplink Satcom. And then it says, in the uplink app, activate the geolocalization and click the Gather Data button. If you can, gather the data when the satellite is as close as possible on your location. It's important to note that we will validate your signal strength, and it is important to note that we will validate your signal strength, but we do not save your location. When the message "device successfully synced" appears and the red dot is blinking, you have completed your task. We will contact you with further instructions. And then it gives the Satcom 70 link as well. And then it says, every time a citizen scientist gathers telemetry data through the uplink app, it is added to a database that these engineers are using to repair corrupted subroutines and restore network stability. This helps the engineers at Myriad to diagnose and repair the global network. It should take about a week to gather enough data, but it could take less time depending on how many citizen scientists across the world help us. So it's important that I'm telling you all this, because the sooner people help with this uplink data, the sooner we'll get more info, I think. And then it goes on to say, earlier this year, a company called Wear Tech revealed a new headset promising to harness the power of dreams for productivity, relaxation, and gaming. Files were intercepted by their development community at PAX East in Boston this past April. These files pointed to a Wear developer, Arnaud Lacour. Not long after these files were intercepted, one of Wear's research and development staff was reported missing. The Ware developer community retraced his steps from Montreal to Paris to London, meeting with representatives of the company in each location. The Atlas Foundation was called in to assist Ware with technical issues they were beginning to experience. Because Ware hosts some of their software on the Myriad satellite network, their difficulties began to have impacts on Myriad, which in turn affected some of our own projects. Notably, Loop 16 has suffered severe damage to its communication and precognitive subroutines. Through the incredible work of our CSD community, this hologram was unlocked through the Mercury process on May 26th, and it gave the link to the video. In order to repair the Myriad satellite network, we will need to work as a team. We are preparing for a critical new phase of this project, which will need extensive support from the Citizen Science Division. You can collaborate with other citizen scientists and follow for updates on our progress using these resources: Reddit, NMS, Atlas CSD, Game Detectives, and Discord. And those are all links on the email to those places. I forgot to mention that the hologram YouTube video says that it is one of 3. So there's going to be 2 more hologram videos that will give us insight into what's coming in the next update. So the first one was a little anticlimactic, like I said, because we already knew that we were going to be getting character models based on the box art. But it is further confirmation of that and everything. But we will be getting 2 more holograms, which will hopefully give us new information. So basically all of this was a synopsis of what's been going on this past year, since January. And if you've been following my reports, you kind of knew all this story. Or if you've been involved with Waking Titan, you knew all of this. But that was a good review of everything that's happened up until now. And it's interesting that we know for sure now that what Ware is doing is hurting Loop 16, because she actually says that Loop 16, Emily, has suffered severe damage to its communication and precognitive subroutines. So Ware is actually damaging Emily. We don't know if it's purposeful, like they're purposely hurting her. Personally, I think they're trying to infiltrate her because they know that she can predict the future. So they're trying to use their Ware headsets to get into Emily's system and use her to predict the future and stuff. But that's just my own theory. It also may be that they're just trying to trap everybody in a simulation like L Plays Gaming thinks. And I do think that that's a strong possibility as well. But anyway, that is the information for now. Like I said, I'll link everything in a pinned comment so that you can hopefully get involved. I hope you all will. On your smartphone or your PC, go to the uplink.satcom70.com and start uploading your data whenever the satellite comes near you. And that should help speed up the beginning of the next phase. And I think she actually used the term, where was it? Sorry. Oh, she actually said, yeah, we are preparing for a critical new phase of this project, which will need extensive support from the Citizen Science Division. So it sounds like she's saying a new phase. So it sounds like we've been calling this phase 4 of Waking Titan because we had phase 1, 2, and 3 last year. And the Game Detectives have been calling this phase 4. But she says this is going to be a new phase of the project. So it sounds like we're going to be going into phase 5 of Waking Titan soon, which may be the last phase. Possibly. I mean, we've solved all the glyphs now, and we know that the update is coming July 24th. So we may be going into the final phase of Waking Titan, but we'll see. So anyway, very exciting, and we'll be looking for next week to get more info, or sooner if enough people help with the satellite uplink thing. So I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and remember, everything is going to be okay.